Good evening. Hi, Alyssa. Hi, Ginger. Hi, Kim. Glad you were able to stay awake long enough. Beautiful, beautiful night here. Hi, Chloe and JB. Welcome. Nice to see you. Dead calm again. It's clear. Temperature around 68 or so, I believe. 68 Fahrenheit or 20 Celsius. Doesn't look too busy at the sheet tonight. So I don't think we'll be overwhelmed unless a lot of things come in soon. So let's move in, see who's here. Our old friend, the banded tussock moth. Still as beautiful as ever. Yeah, Alyssa, I love these guys too. Really, they're so attractive. Those lines on the wings are so interesting. Plus the blue, pale blue on the thorax. Those pale blue lines. I just realized I forgot to put a tissue under my ring light so it wouldn't bang. Let me see if I have one in my pocket here. I do. Just hang on a second here while I put this tissue in place. I hear a mammal calling in the woods here, some kind. Maybe a raccoon. All right, should reduce the banging. So, what else do we have here? It's a mayfly. It's like one of the species that we see quite often. Those three threads coming off the end of the abdomen. The different banded tussock moth over here. common blue physia, which we see every night. Virginia tenuta just flew by and flushed away the moth I was going to show you. There's a ground beetle we can look at. Yeah, those Virginia tenuta like to like to steal the spotlight whenever they can. This ground beetle has nice orange legs. I believe this one has green iridescence on the elytra and on the thorax, but can't seem to get quite enough light. There's a white triangle tortrix. And he frightened off a caddisfly. Baltimore snout moth. That's the small rivulet moth that we saw last night, several of last night. Has a pretty restricted range, mainly in eastern Canada. Oh, here's a azalea sphinx hiding down here. It's actually where it was perched a couple of nights ago, but this is a nice fresh one. Azalea sphinx moth, our first sphinx of the night. It's a fish fly. Everything seems kind of restless tonight. Virginia tenuta. I'm going to have to look up and see if the females have feathery antennae as well in this species. Usually when you see feathery antennae, it means you're looking at a male of almost any species of moth, but I haven't seen any that of the Virginia tenuta moth that didn't have these feathery antennae. A nice little well, it wasn't a leafhopper. Oh, here's a nice longhorn beetle. I think this is a poplar borer. It's in the family of longhorn beetles. Feeds on poplar. Off he goes. Nice. Poplar borer. There's some new moths that are landing, but as soon as I point the camera at them, they're flying away. Who's this one here? This is some type of fanfoot. Look at the antenna on this one. They're kind of interesting that they're sort of hinged in the middle. I think that's typical of the fanfoots. I don't know if they actually can bend their antenna at that joint, but who's this up here? Not sure who this is, but I know I've seen it quite a few times. Just not pulling up the name. It's that ground beetle again with the orangish legs. Here's a slug moth up here. Oh, this is a new one. Budded flu, of course. Here's our azalea sphinx. That slug moth was a new species for us, called the yellow-shouldered slug moth, and hopefully it'll show up on the sheet somewhere else. There was something there. Microforest beetle, one of the sexton beetles. See if he has any mites. Ooh, I think he does. Yep. Lots of mites on this one. One is elytra on the thorax. Microforus. P-H-O-R-U-S. Microforus, all one word. Microforus is the genus. And this group of beetles are known as sexton beetles, S-E-X-T-O-N. Micro as in microscope. Microforus. And he's off. Here's our green leuconicta, green leuconicta we see every night. Such a beautiful moth, this one. Green leuconicta, that's it. Perfect, Ginger, thank you. Go check over here. I have the gray sheet that we had last night is still here. tufted bird-dropping moth. And common gluphisia. Fish fly, not that one. This one. That's another common gluphisia. It's kind of worn, this one. Oh, here's our poplar borer. Once again, this longhorn beetle. And the Azalea sphinx. Looks like they had a bit too much to drink tonight. Not sure of this one. Looks like one we had last night or a couple of nights ago. Haven't looked that one up yet. Nice flame-shouldered dart. That's probably our white spring moth, but it's kind of overexposed. And here's a caddisfly. You can see the antennae are about the same length as the body. And typically in caddisflies, they stick straight out in front of the insect. That's a white banded tooth carpet. Couple of nice micro moths here. Both of one on the left is in the genus Pococera, and the one on the right, I believe, is in the genus Acrobasis, but I'm not sure of that. It's a pretty common moth, and I think the first part of its name is yellow-shouldered. I don't remember what the rest is. Could be leaf roller. Acrobasis, right. Oh, there's a very worn laurel sphinx. Very, very worn. Almost no scales on the wing. floral sphinx moth. Seems to have a lot more scales left on the right wing than it does on its left wing. Yeah, well, poor guy is right. We're all losing scales every day. Virginia tenucid moth. So beautiful. Here's an interesting pattern. On the underside of the wings. And on the top side too. Still don't recognize it. Let's see if we can see inside. There's a moth called the white-banded black. It's a day-flying moth, and I think that was it. I'll have to look that one up too. White-banded black, we'll call it for now. Don't recognize. Oh, that white-banded black is now on my screen, right in front of my face. Let's see if I can get it on my finger. Nope. Didn't want to go on my finger. Common blue physia. Fairly quiet tonight. Here's a black zigzag. And a green lacewing coming up here, I think. If I can find it. Here it is. Whoop, just got wiped out. Just saw that on my iNaturalist page. Hi, Brianna. Thanks for joining us. This is a soldier beetle of some kind. Fish fly. It's always good to check on your lamp too. There's something down here on the lamp. The lighting is not good here, sorry. I think that's a dark spotted looper. We saw one before actually, and I gave it the wrong name. I was calling it the unspotted looper last time we saw this until I looked it up, realized it was the dark spotted looper. Anyway, the light's really bad down there. Their Baltimore snout once again. That was the pale glyph that just flew there. This here is pale marked angle moth, pale marked angle. This is a moth in the genus Donacaula, Donacaula, Donacaula. There's a moth enthusiast in Rhode Island. His name is Aaron Hunt, who's studying this genus, and he's about to publish his findings. I think he's discovered there are a lot of new species of Donacaula that weren't known previously. At least the banded tussock moths are sitting still. And green leuconicta. Here's, I believe, a little, small bird dropping moth. I think it is. Maybe it's too small. No, that's what it is, a small bird dropping moth. We saw a couple on the early streams, the first streams I did back in June. Small bird dropping moth. This one's quite rare in New Brunswick. That's it, Ginger. This is, let me zoom in a bit. Well, that ant just chased it off. It's just as well because I wasn't going to come up with a name anyway. This is a pale glyph. a micro moth here in the genus Hedya, I think. Hedya, Hedya. Got a Virginia tenuta moth in my ear. This is a micro moth in the genus Pococera. Sure what species it is. Nicely marked, so it'll probably be quite easy to identify once I get around to looking in the books. A click beetle just flew away. All right, we'll do another run across the sheet, and here's a ichneumon wasp. We'll do another run across the sheet and maybe have an early night here. Oh, here's a bicolored pyrosta. This is one we haven't seen on the stream before. Bicolored pyrosta. Pyrosta is P-Y-R-A-U-S-T-A. And he's gone. I photographed one at the lights the other night, just a few minutes after our stream ended. But that's the first one we've seen on the stream. Bicolored pyrosta. Our Azalea sphinx again. Not sure who this is. Azalea sphinx. Hi, Ryan. Ryan Grippo, nice to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Pretty quiet night here at the lights. But we have a few odds and ends. It's a nice big fish fly there. Common gluphisia. I think that's a Donicola there of some kind. The one in the center. This is a Donicola here. Seem to be two different species. This one and this one. So Virginia tenuta moth on the left. The top is common gluphisia. The bottom, maybe an acrobasis of some kind, I'm not sure. Here's our three-line balsa. Which feeds on apple trees, the larvae do. a rove beetle. It's a really tiny rove beetle. I'm zoomed in here. Oh, here's a big moth. It's a big moth flying around. The azalea sphinx has landed right here. I think it's a polyphemus moth that is flying around. Not sure where it went. This is a new one for us. I think this is sawwing. S-A-W-wing, sawwing. Big geometer. He's flown away, but we had a good brief view of him. Sawwing moth, yep. Hi, Dan. Got all the chores done? Good to see you. Tufted bird dropping moth. Very worn azalea sphinx. How is Mojave here? Good evening, Mojave. Thanks for coming back to check out the moth stream. Virginia tenuted moth. There's a grass veneer of some kind. I think this is a double-banded grass veneer. There's our black zigzag. Here's a nice leaf hopper. Looks like one of the species we saw last night. If you look real closely, they have very tiny antennae right in front of their eyes. Little tiny antenna that sticks straight out. I'll see if I can zoom in some more. It's typical of leafhoppers to have those little, very short antennae right in front of the eye. So it's hard to see the eye because it's the same color as the body. But the eye is just forward of where the front leg joins the body. It's an Asian lady beetle. A pug moth of some kind. Yeah, that's one of the largest leafhoppers, probably the largest species we've seen so far, but they come bigger than that. And even more colorful than that too. You'll see some later on in July. That will just blow your mind when you see them. There's another one here, probably the same species. Same little tiny short antenna. I love leafhoppers. and nice markings on this micro moth here. I don't recognize it. Baltimore snout moth. I've got my wires all wrapped around the lamp here. Oh, here's our yellow-shouldered slug moth is back. I just get him to sit still for a moment. There he is, with the white stripe and his abdomen curled up, pointing up in the air. Yellow-shouldered slug moth. That's it, Ginger. And there's a beautiful cochillid moth of some kind right there. Cochillid, C-O-C-H-Y-L-I-D. It's a family of moths called the Cochillidae. It's our yellow-shouldered slug moth. Slug moths typically are quite small, and almost all species have an abdomen that they curl way up above their wings when they're sitting like this. That's a pug moth up here of some kind. Might have been a green pug that was just kind of washed out. There's a soldier beetle. There. Those pads. I think he's eating something. Well, I think he's eating his own antenna. I guess he was cleaning it. That was interesting. Maybe he just got really hungry. The nearest thing he could find was his antenna. I don't know. That was funny. Yeah, I must have been dirty. Mosquitoes are biting. Well, that's gone. That was a new moth. There's a little micro moth we saw a few minutes ago. Oh, there are two of them. They're like a mirror image of each other. I think these are called some kind of sedge moth. Don't remember what species they are, but I think they're called sedge moths. Yeah. Here's this little one up here is a yellow spotted webworm. Oh, darn it, flew. And this one not sure. Can't remember. I think it's a fanfoot. And oh, there's a polyphemus moth. It just came in to the sheet and left again. This is, I think, one of the fanfoot moths. The genus is Zanclognatha. Anybody cares? That's spelled Z-A-N-C-L-O-G-N-A-T-H-A. Zanclognatha. Perfect, Ginger. I don't know how you did that. Here's this white marked black. Once again. I think this is more of a day-flying moth. And usually when you see them in the daytime, their wings are open. This is a large mossy glyph. Large mossy glyph. Perfect. There's a leaf hopper there, a different species. With a nice pattern on his back, if I can hold this still. Black stripe on his face. I guess the large mossy glyph wanted to be back in the picture. Oh, this is what are these bog? This is called a bog leaf hopper. Oh, I can walk backwards. Great trick. These are kind of similar to the green ones we saw earlier, but these ones are much more stout. They're not as long and slender. Oh. Oh. Caddisfly on the left. The one on the right there, I've seen that before. I think it's a cosmet moth, C-O-S-M-E-T. These are both very small. You can see they're on one of those bands on the tissue that are 11 millimeters wide. So the comet moth is about 11, and so is a caddisfly. That's a bit less than half an inch. I think there's somebody on our lens here. I'll have to ask them to move. Okay. It's a nice micro moth that I've seen before, but I can't remember the name. They feed on, I know what they feed on is sedum. Sedum is a fleshy plant that around here is kind of rare as a native, but people plant them around their house. We have some that are yellow. Sedum is S-E-D-U-M. Great blue heron just called. Anyone heard that? It's another gone. Green lacewing down here. There it is. Twitching his antenna. So many moths tonight I've seen that would be new for the stream, and they disappear as I'm moving the camera into place. Just for some reason, everything's kind of excited tonight and not staying put long. This here may be a new one for us. This is called the wheat-head armyworm. Feeds on wheat. The larvae feed on the seed heads of wheat. Wheat-head armyworm. Considered a pest species, of course, by anyone that grows wheat. Somebody's making a lot of noise over. Oh, it's a June bug. I guess I didn't look at the calendar. The powdered bigwing. This is the small rivulet again. Our banded tussock moth. I'm just looking around to see if there's anything new or different. Here's a bee moth down bee moth for a few nights. Kind of a pale greenish with some black spotting. Bee, like a bumblebee. Some kind of a crane fly there. Flew off. Ichneumon wasp. Wow, sure is a calm, quiet night, not a breath of wind. This is one of the carpet moths. This one's in the genus Hydriomena. We've seen a few of these. Haven't been able to get them down to species yet. Hydriomena. H-Y-D-R-I-O-M-E-N-A. Hydriomena. Hydriomena with a M-Y-N-A at the end. M-Y-N-A. That's it. Perfect, Ginger. Thank you. And this is a brother moth. I think the first one we've seen tonight. This is a grass veneer, this white moth. And I can't remember the name. I think it's called elegant. Elegant grass veneer. That seems to ring a bell. Gone. It's a new one for our stream. Let me look around here, see if maybe the Polyphemus is sitting somewhere. Oh, I'm all wrapped around the lamp again. Green leuconicta. There's a green pug. No trouble to see the green against the dark background. Green pug moth. It's a large mossy glyph once again. This is a moth in the genus Euclania. It's, Euclania is E-U-C-H-L. E-U-C-H-L-A-E-N-I-A. Euclania. Closely related to the sawwing moth that we saw earlier. Oh, I got a bite. Euclania. Yep. There's an E after the A. Really important to know that. It's funny, I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but I remember how to spell Euclania. Go figure. Flame-shouldered dart. Caddisfly. We looked at this one earlier. All right, well, see, we're just about out of time. Take one last quick look here. Nobody new there. Nobody new here. Our white marked black moth again. Our sedge moth. Oh, there's a nice one. Oh, it flew. There. It's a really nice little micro moth. Anyway, before I get carried away here, I'll say excuse me, I think we disconnected there, but I was just saying goodnight and thank you so much to Ginger for all the great typing tonight. Thanks to Alyssa for all her help on the stream and tonight. Thanks for being here, Chloe and JB. Really appreciate it. Good night, Brianna. Good night, Brianna. Thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate it. If there's anyone there that hasn't hit the like button, please do so. I'd appreciate it. I'm not sure who's still here, but good night to everyone. Hey Dan, Iguana Dan, thanks for watching. You're welcome, Dan. Thanks for being here. Sorry. All right. Good night. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.